State Champs Live is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. And the Detroit Medical Center. Do you have a sports injury or are just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers. Hey everyone, welcome to episode 11 of State Champs Live, presented by Lawrence Tech. Do you know, according to a new study by the New York City-based financial technology company Smart Asset, Lawrence Technological University is the #1 private university in the Detroit area in terms of the value of its education. Smart Asset considered tuition, student living costs, scholarship and grant offerings, student retention rates, and starting salary for new graduates in making its rankings. LTU is #1 in Michigan private universities. Find out more at ltu.edu. We are live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter every Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. My name is Lauren Plant, and I will be introducing our guest in moments. But first, let's take a look at the headlines for Wednesday, April 15th. The PSL pipeline continues. For decades, the Detroit Public School League is always one of the most fertile recruiting grounds in the state for college football coaches. San Diego Chargers' Desmond King and Tampa Bay's Will Golston, to name just a few. The class of 2021 is no exception. 5 of the top 15 players in the class hailing from either Cass Tech or King. 4 have committed to Big Ten schools over the last week, with 3 of them picking Penn State. More on those guys you see right there on your screen in just a minute. Rikia is staying put after Mississippi State women's basketball coach Vic Schaefer left for the University of Texas earlier this month. Bulldog fans were worried that some of his key recruits, including former Michigan Miss Basketball Rikia Jackson, would follow him out the door. Jackson was among those players to quell rumors recently, posting a picture of herself in a Bulldogs uniform on social media with the caption, "All the conversations can stop now." Jackson earned a spot on the All-SEC second team and the league's all-freshman team, the only freshman in the league to rank in the top 10 in points and field percentage. The MHSAA wants you. Class of 2022, the Michigan High School Athletic Association is seeking applicants from the class of 2022 for a 2-year stint on the Student Advisory Council, a body which meets 7 times per school year to discuss issues relating to the 4 pillars of educational athletics: scholarships, sportsmanship, safety, and sensible scope of athletic programs, as well as student leadership. 4 boys and 4 girls from the class of 2022 will be chosen and join last year's group, which includes Detroit Douglas's Pierre Brooks II, Cadillac's Macy Brown, Ithaca's Lydia Davenport, Traverse City St. Francis's Freddie Koplow, Salem's Colin McAuliffe, Mason's Avery Peters, Novi's Abigail Pfeiffer, and Stephenville Lakeshore's Landon Thompson. You must have a 3.0 GPA. Complete the application at the MHSAA website and submit a letter of recommendation from a school administrator to be selected. That's today's headlines. Here is today's Hungry Howie's Twitter question of the day. What is the first thing you're going to do when the quarantine is over? Visit friends and family, go shopping, eat at a restaurant, or something else. Find State Champs Michigan on Twitter and vote. We'll read the results tomorrow. The one thing that never stops, COVID-19 or not, is football recruiting. And a man who has made a career of it has been a State Champs contributor for 7 years now. He joins us once again. His segments, The Recruit Report, are some of the most viewed segments during the fall for both State Champs Michigan and State Champs Indiana. 247 Sports' Alan Trieu joins us once again. Alan, how are you doing?
Basically the same as last time. Still hanging in there, but still busy. And like I said, like you said, recruiting's still going. So I have plenty to do.
That's right. Alan was our first guest on State Champs Live. So here we are 10 shows later, and we're going to talk a little bit about what's happening. As we mentioned in today's headlines, Penn State is raiding the state of Michigan to replenish its team with some of our top recruits. More specifically, plucking players who compete in the Detroit PSL. Break it down for us.
Yeah, three commitments in the last week here for Penn State. Detroit King safety Jalen Reed, Detroit Cass Tech brothers Kalen, who's a cornerback, and Kobe, who was a linebacker. So it's three of the best players coming out of a state where those guys had the opportunity. The King brothers had offers from Michigan and Michigan State, and also Wisconsin and some other schools. Jalen had as far out as Georgia and Oregon, some of those places. So some people have asked me what the deal is. Penn State's always come into Michigan, though. We can go back to Tim Shaw and then into Robert Bolden and Allen Robinson and Anthony Zettel and some of those guys. So they also have a former PSL guy on their staff, and Tim Banks, who's a King graduate. So that's helped them reel some of these guys in. They also have several players from the state on their roster already. Enzo Jennings, Lance Dixon, Donovan Johnson, KJ Hamler has just graduated. So Penn State's always recruited Detroit, I think, pretty well, but maybe turning up the heat a little bit this year because we do have a pretty strong 2021 class in the PSL, and I think they get three guys here who can be difference makers. Jalen Reed had 101 tackles last year. Kobe King had his year shortened with some injuries, but was outstanding when he was in there. Also played tailback and was really good during Cass's playoff run. Kalen King scored 14 touchdowns offensively and had some big special teams plays as well, in addition to what he did as a cornerback. So those three guys are expecting to come in and contribute early. The King twins are graduating early and are going to be there mid-year. So good haul right there for James Franklin and company.
Personally, I think KJ Hamler, formerly of Orchard Lake St. Mary's, is going to be the steal in this year's NFL draft. We'll see if that comes to be true, but I think lots of value there, and I think he might not go as high as some might predict, but whoever gets him, I think, is getting a baller. All right, the next few years, critical for Michigan State to put themselves back on the winning track. These next few recruiting classes are key. How is the new head coach, Mel Tucker, and his staff doing?
Well, it's starting to take off here. They got three commitments in the last about week and a half here. Two of those from the state of Michigan, in Oak Park running back Davion Prim and East Lansing offensive tackle Ethan Boyd. And I think when you take that and put it into the context of these guys took over after signing days mid-February and then had visits really taken away from them. They had one weekend of on-campus visits in March and then had to shut the thing down and then aren't able to go on the road in the spring. That hurts a new staff the most, potentially. And these guys have not allowed that to affect their recruiting. I think they have a couple of more in-state guys who are in the pipe that are going to be announcing their decisions soon here. But in Prim, you get a guy who averaged over 10 yards a carry last year. Only had 95 carries, but rushed for over 1,000 yards and has played a role on the varsity for the last couple of years. I think Prim is outstanding. And then Ethan Boyd, a kid who picked up and got serious about football a little bit later in his life than some of these other guys, but has really blossomed into a top prospect. 6'7", 285 pounds. You can't teach that size, but also was athletic enough to still play varsity basketball this past year. You see some of the strength and ability to finish blocks there. So, and even though he's from East Lansing, it wasn't a layup. He had offers from Minnesota and Vanderbilt, had some other schools coming into the picture for him. But I think the combination of he snuck in a visit to Michigan State just before everything shut down and was able to meet the staff. And so the combination of being able to be close to his family and having met the new coaches and felt comfortable with him led him to choose Michigan State over some of those other programs.
So if you have a question or comment for Alan Trieu, now's the time to ask on Facebook or Twitter. I'll ask Alan later in the show. All right, Alan, then there is Michigan. Many Wolverine fans just desperate to see if Jim Harbaugh can lift U of M to the promised land or at least get that Ohio State monkey, maybe gorilla, off their back. Could the latest commitment be a springboard for others to join the team? I know his announcement got a lot of reaction on Twitter.
Yeah, Raheem Anderson from Cass Tech, and I think he is going to be a guy who's going to help them win ball games. And they've done really well recently at the center position. Cesar Ruiz is going to get drafted. You have Graham Glasgow, who has done really well in the NFL. And you talk to people at Cass Tech, and it's hard to find anybody who has a negative word to say about Raheem. He's going to be a 3-year captain, which is almost unheard of at a school like that. A sophomore captain at Cass Tech, a 4-year starter on the offensive line, which they've never had. And you go back through all the great linemen they've had at Cass Tech, never had a guy start 4 years on the offensive line. Just a guy who is extremely technically sound, great student, very smart, which you want out of your center. He's going to be the guy making all the calls up and down the line of scrimmage. a guy who had offers recently. Georgia came in, LSU had offered him, Michigan State's new staff had offered him. And so even though he grew up, I think, wanting to play for Michigan, had the opportunity to go a lot of places, Michigan's able to close this one out. Would not surprise me to see him start multiple years at Michigan, just like he has at Cass Tech.
All right. If there are comments or questions for Alan, we'll get to those in moments. But first, to Michigan's left coast for this week in State Champs history.
The year is 2015. Girls lacrosse. West side of Michigan brouhaha between two titans, Rockford and East Grand Rapids. The Rockford Rams, the defending back-to-back Division I state champs. East Grand Rapids, winners of 3 straight D2 state titles. Both teams filled the cage all game long. Naturally, regulation not enough time to determine a winner. In overtime, the Pioneers' L. O'Connell scoring the go-ahead goal. East Grand Rapids wins 11-10. Since that time, the Pioneers have taken home 3 of the last 5 Division II state titles. The Rams are currently the 7-time defending D1 title holders. This week in State Champs history is presented by Lawrence Tech Athletics. Recruit yourself at ltuathletics.com.
All right, so let's get to the live question and comments for Alan Trieu. And we had a good one, actually, from John Kidd, who works on the staff here at State Champs, been with us since the beginning, as long as I've been here. But he wants to know, do you think the NCAA will allow off-season camps in December if there are no camps in the summer?
Funny, we just talked about that off the air before we got on. I think that it's very, very possible. I think that right now they're going to have to first look at July to see if that's an option to open it up and you can have some camps then. But if not, I think you're going to have to allow some of those. It's going to really affect the way schools can evaluate these kids. And especially then, if the season is affected in any way, you're going to need to do that. So you already have that format a little bit at Division II schools who are able to bring kids up and work them out in December and January. And I think depending on what happens here, it would be wise to open up that possibility for the Division I schools also.
All right, I want to thank 247 Sports Alan Trieu for coming on the show today. Let's do it again real soon. Best to you and yours, my friend.
Same to you, Lauren. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Time now for the MHSAA Clip of the Day.
And that's your MHSAA Clip of the Day.
And in a walking boot, no less. All right, you too can have your clip be the clip of the day. Connect with us and we'll check it out. State Champs is very committed to high school robotics. For the last 5 years, we've been covering robotics like no one else in the country. Are you into it? State Champs RoboZone is the name. Download our free State Champs app or search RoboZone Show on your favorite social platform. We also love esports. We have a blistering online high school season of League of Legends happening right now. Check out the content on our State Champs Esports Twitch channel. You know, we all salute the work our hospital systems are doing. We salute the Detroit Medical Center, who many are tackling COVID-19 on the front lines. DMC Game Changers is the partnership State Champs has with the Detroit Medical Center's Rehabilitation Institute of Michigan. We want to make you better. Check this out.
Do you pick your athletic shoe by picking the latest style or your favorite color, or do you use a team shoe? Well, if you answered yes to those, it's probably not the best thing for your feet. The shoe is the most important piece of equipment you can put on your body before a sport. Make sure you pick one with a good heel counter and a correct bend point, and that'll help prevent injury and improve your performance.
She actually goes into great detail on really the shoe that you should choose, so you can check out that full 2-minute segment or any other. Go to our State Champs TV YouTube channel. Check out the playlist. All right, let's get to the result of yesterday's Hungry Howie's Twitter question of the day. Well, do you find yourself playing more video games during this time? Overwhelmingly, yes, is the answer. So tomorrow on State Champs Live. Hang Time Michigan's TJ Kelly will join me to talk about the havoc the coronavirus shutdown is having on AAU basketball and hoops recruiting in general. Please join us at 2 p.m. If you have a guest or a topic you think we should talk to and have here on live, please email our show coordinator, Amanda. Her email, amanda@yellowflagproductions.com. Be well. We'll see you next time on State Champs Live.
State Champs Live is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. The Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics. Hungry Howie's, famous for flavor. And the Detroit Medical Center. Do you have a sports injury or are just looking to take your game to the next level? Go where the pros go. Visit dmc.org/gamechangers.